and every day. There were kissing gates, 1, 2, 3. There were kissing gates when you walk with me. A lot of souls in the air and the view is great, but there's no one to kiss at the kissing gate. There's no one to kiss at the kissing gate. No one to kiss at the kissing gate.
Thanks, cheers.
We're still at the Sark Folk Festival with the Crowns, a young, very young actually, Cornish band who luckily were on the boat that we came over on, and we formed a firm friendship, I think, that will carry on. Bonded, definitely, yeah. In
at sea, really.
Exactly,
Oh,
the salt
steady,
spray.
steady,
Yeah.
Well, it gets lonely.
Forge on the way, true. Yeah. Anyway, we hadn't come across you before, but it's really exciting. 2 sets you've had here now. Can you give us a potted, history and story of what the Crowns are, where you came from, and probably where you're going?
Well, we're all from Cornwall, and we all moved to London to pursue being in Crowns together, and we play Cornish music, but sort of punked up.
Yeah, that says it. Yeah.
That's
Which
it.
I know it's
That's
very,
simple.
very vague, but can go into more detail. But that is the general gist of it. Yeah.
But you've got that mix just right, where you've got that traditional stuff, and you respect it, but you're not afraid to mix it up and play around with it. And that's how long does that take to find that sound though? Because it's a bit more complicated than just.
Yeah, it is, I suppose, but it was mainly just sort of because we, in the pubs where we grew up, they sometimes do like a St Piran's session, which is the patron saint of Cornwall, where you get like normally blokes of a certain age playing sort of like banjos and accordions and all that. And so we were just sort of like joining a bit on that and learn the chords a bit and think actually, that sped up a little bit, or that played a bit louder, or just as it is really, but with the attitude.
You splice that in with growing up listening to like Green Day and people like that, and we were all in like little punk bands before we were Crowns.
It's pretty much we don't know how to play it, so we start like this and interview us in a few years' time, and we might actually be able to play it.
I think you're putting yourselves down a bit. So yeah, what kind of influences then of modern bands? What are your favourites now on the scene?
It's a tough one really. I mean, personally, it wouldn't be like obvious things like you'd think like the new folk scene and stuff like that. There's not a great deal in that I really would say that I like, because I feel that's a lot more sort of almost country style more than sort of Celtic folk. So literally for me, like inspiration wise, it's always just it is those moments where you're in a bar and someone just starts singing, and that's what has always got me.
How did you all meet though?
We went to school together.
Yeah.
And you stay friends.
Another place to build firm bonds.
When you're lonely.
Does get lonely
in
in
school.
Yes, lonely. You did.
I did. But I'm not lonely anymore.
Yeah, you managed to. There's 4 of you, and you managed to not bring. How many sleeping bags you bring between you?
We've got 2 sleeping bags between 4 of us.
Yeah, and you still ended up with one whole one to yourself, and
No, because I went to bed a bit earlier than everyone else. Because
7 in the evening.
That's not
because
what
and we basically before we went to bed, we sort of scavenged round. Sounds disgusting, but we got all the cardboard boxes we could find and sort of flattened them out and put them on the floor just for the warmth, because it's cold.
Actually,
on the floor.
To be fair, he wasn't greedy at all. When I came into the tent, there was 2 sleeping bags in the tent, but he was just wrapped around with a little piece of cardboard.
There we go. And then I got up
That's
because
friendship. That.
yeah. But I got up because there was someone snoring. There was someone snoring really bad in the tent next door to ours. I got out of ours to give that a little bit of a kick. And when I came back, I thought, sod getting back in the cardboard, I'm going to get in with them because they're all in sleeping bags. So I got in and sort of on top and slowly fell down And you sort of like slotted in like Pilchard in the morning.
Every degree of privacy like breaks down when you
All
tour
common decency
together.
is gone, isn't it? Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
What about recording plans? More gigs? What's in the pipeline for you?
We're going to be going into Rack Studios to do a couple of tracks, which is really cool. We recorded down with a guy called Neil Houston, who's based in Newquay, and he recorded us in his studio in St Mirren in Cornwall. So yeah, that's just being mixed and all that business at the moment. So we're going to stick that online as like new music, and then we'll get into Rack towards the end of the month, and hopefully do a single that we'll probably put out on our own label.
Steam.
Yeah, under our own steam.
What's your website address actually?
It's crownsband.com.
Well, thanks for talking. We look forward to seeing you at more festivals,
Thank
more
you.
gigs. Yeah.
More boats.
More boats, definitely. Yeah.
More bonds.
See you at sea.
Cheers, guys.